Suffering succotash. What an absolutely crazy past month it's been for Pudgy Penguins. What's up? My name's the Shiller. Welcome to XFeed. If this is your first time tuning in, we talk about the happenings through my XFeed regarding Web3, the blockchain space, and sometimes things that aren't relevant at all, but still kind of fun to talk about. So if you haven't seen, basically, Pudgy Penguins have had a monstrous last little bit, and the only thing that I have seen that we could say, this is maybe the reason for it, is that they recently announced a collaboration with a big company that apparently is like the Tom and Jerry of Asia in terms of IP. Obviously, that's not necessarily the reason why things are going, but if you were trying to put a rationale to it, also the comments regarding blur lending, NFT leverage as a whole. We talked the other day about NFT finance, and look, a couple days later, now it's kind of all over the timeline. So let's dive into this just a little bit. And we're seeing some crazy sales in terms of grails that people are going for. Someone just bought 3 gold pudgies for 50 ETH each, spending a total of $378,000. Now, when people go and they reach for these grails, it gets a lot of people talking for one reason or another. And generally speaking, I feel that that has happened with other collections where before we've seen a massive run up for Board Apes or CryptoPunks, there's been massive bids upon grails. And then shortly to follow, there's some announcement, some kind of craze regarding the collection. And it just, it kind of goes nuts. So this is wild to see that Pudgy is getting these upper echelon grail buys per se. And apparently one Pudgy is now worth 1 Bitcoin. There's how many Bitcoin and how many Pudgies? Once again, still crazy the amount of run that they've had. And of course, things are probably going to go higher because this is the NFTer mindset. People are fading NFTs like crazy. The title of this is obviously talking about, is it time to rotate into alts? And it's like, no, it's like one collection that's doing extremely well with NFTs. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to cascade out of it, because we've seen time and time again where these NFTs are the way to get these certain tokens. But Angel Clark's saying, I thought long and hard if I wanted to sell my Pudge last night. He's the only one I have left. $115 to $50,000. This goes back to the, hey, when you're talking to people about the NFT space, they're like, oh, okay, so it's all about money. Oh, it's a gamble, this and that. And then it's, yada. Would be a great flip, but I just can't part with this guy yet. Please, someone find a licensing deal for me to justify me being married to my bags, which is every NFT holder ever. And that's why NFTs do great, because people just hold them. And if you're not emotionally attached, then you're going to do great. And lucky for me, I have like 2 fluffs that are not floor fluff, so and they'll go out, we're getting the frig out. I'm just kidding. Calm your horses. Okay, over the past 4 days, 82% of Pudgy sales have been buyers picking the NFT they want as opposed to a seller dumping into a bid. That's the highest this ratio has been in the past year. Average is around 30% buyer picks and 70% sellers dumping into bids. And this chart, woo, this is crazy. And if you want to follow Punk9059, he does give a lot of great insights and statistics regarding these sort of things. And kicked off the show talking about how normally we see grails kind of rip the band-aid off a collection that's not really moved a little bit, and then everything starts flushing upwards, and we see this monkey CryptoPunk getting a bid of 900 ETH. My question for you today, if you had 900 ETH, I need to move my chair higher. If you had 900 ETH, what would you spend it on? That's crazy. This person's holding on to it, works out to about 2.2 mil USD Canadian. It's even higher. We've been talking about NFTs, baby, and things are starting to look pretty all right. 16 ETH for a Pudgy is undervalued. Get it? UMF has pumped shit that I don't even know what it is to 30 to 40 ETH. I'm holding comfortably still. What? I mean, I don't know any collections that have pumped the 30 to 40 ETH that people don't know like what it is. And I'm pretty sure right now, if we were going to go and look at Pudgies, oh, they're on the front page. Look at that. They're up to 18 ETH. So if you can see on this 30-day chart that it shows, like this was at 11 at the beginning of this year. Well, I mean, even lower. This was at like 10, and now it's at almost 18. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And a little bit of FUD here is always from Jay regarding Moonbirds. Pudgies are about to flip apes. Meanwhile, Moonbirds giving holders useless backgrounds and continue to ignore the market. But I mean, listen, still, it's cool. But this guy FUDs Moonbirds all the time, and I find it kind of funny. But again, what do we see that's going on with Pudgies that are really that different? Well, it's the IP, it's this, that, and the other thing, and then listen, okay, so you guys care about IP once again. I wonder where that's gonna lead. And then I saw this, and I'm like, man, this is like literally a copy pasta of what Moonbird's mythics are. So whatever this collection is, I don't know. I feel like they're going to get sussed out a little bit. Now, with the topic of Pudgy doing well, I think it is funny and something to bring up here is that we do have people that are like genuinely thinking that other collections, or I mean, even Pudgies, are going to quote unquote rug. Remember, these collections have been around for a while. They have massive funding. There's legal teams involved with pretty much everything. The landscape that we knew from even a year ago compared to now is completely different. The use cases, the implementation, the application of what Web3 can do is going to be completely turned on its head in 2024. And I feel like most people are just thinking that's not going to happen. So, comments here regarding what's been going on. 52 apes dumped into bids. The rotation from apes to Pudgies have begun. The flippening is upon us. This comes into the question of for leverage trading, where people have been accruing the blur points, all that other stuff, because BAYC was the top traded account for a while with the prices, yada, yada. And this is where things could get interesting, where before we also saw the battle between CryptoPunks and apes and which is going to flip which. So this comes into here. And Hemdog making a point here, showing their own bags a little bit, but let's read it. Apes are like the game farming simulator. None of the OGs are sweeping or doubling down. They just post about how BAYC is historic and will be on top. Oh yeah? The ecosystem is huge. They have been building forever with barely any communication. The vibes are dead in Discord and Twitter chats. Trades don't matter and the loans are ridiculous. People need to realize the project's doing well right now. Pudgies, Quirkies, checks. All those founders are in the trenches with the community daily building brick by brick. Now, okay. Let's have a quick little thought about this. And I think like everybody is thinking that, oh, like their team is doing the best or this, that, and the other thing. And it's obviously like a reflection of people being convinced, I guess would be the right word, that something is going to do rather well. You know, I started this and I didn't think Pepper was going to scream the entire show, but he has been. So I got to shut the door. Holy hell. That's ridiculous. My goodness. All right. Sorry about that. And so, I mean, again, talking about like the applications that are going to flip on their head, right? Like, so if Yuga launches Other Side and it's actually successful and all these people go run into it, well, okay, like that comment kind of doesn't make any sense, right? Like all these other things, like what are these collections doing that is garnering this, oh my God, they're doing something revolutionary. This is great, other than convincing people that, yeah, like we're going to be building something that's good. We have these discussions, et cetera, et cetera. It feels kind of like the same argument and things, but certain collections are doing well, more recognized, whatever. And also it takes like a single whale, right, to really move the markets in some cases. Now, I flipped the script on this one. Let's go over to this because there was a specific point within this discussion that I highlighted yesterday. So Shar was at the CES thing, and it was a panel about monetizing immersive Hollywood equals real-time AI plus advertising and Metaverse. And she makes a really good point about how consumers are going to want control of what they're doing. Right now, there's not a whole lot, right? You do Facebook, Instagram, you don't really have that much privacy in a way. And giving information, right, for cookies, yada, yada. She talks about this, but before I play this, I want to highlight this one before. It's saying, are we in kindergarten now? Institutions can take actions against an account you have with them that you pay for, and they owe you no explanation for cancellation. Okay, so what is it? I can't make this up. My friend was skeptic about crypto, decides to buy a small amount via Kraken. His crypto-friendly bank Monzo freezes the transaction. When he asks why and if he can undo the transaction, they send an email saying they're closing his account and can't tell him why. So if a bank can literally shut down your account because you're dealing within crypto, I mean, that's the thing that actually happens. And that's where this blockchain technology thing and people owning what they have is going to be very imperative. So here's the full clip.
We're going to be really good friends. I hope everyone paid attention to what he just said, because I will make predictions. I'm going to jump a few years out. That was exactly right, and that is all going to happen. And the reason it's going to happen is because in 2024, which, like we just talked about, we're already beyond 2024. So if you're not into AI now, you've already missed the boat. If you're not into it, you got to get into it. You got to figure out why it's useful, not why it's not useful. Look at why it's useful and find every way you possibly can to use it. I'm going to jump to 2025, 26, 27, 28, and these things are going to sound crazy and like they're not going to happen, but I believe they're going to. So all of the content being created by generative AI, which is the big buzzword at CES right now, where is it going to go? There's infinite, expansive tools that now let millions of people create more than they ever could create. It's not going on X. It's not going back to Instagram. It's not going in our email. It's going in the metaverse. With the exception of this event right now, we're all in the metaverse. Most of us spend 50% of our time or way more staring at our phone or talking to people on Zoom. We're already in the metaverse. It's already here. It's not happening. It's not dead. It's coming. That's where all the content's going to go, into an immersive form of the internet. Then what's going to happen is consumers are going to start understanding that they can have control over their data, their finances. They're already mistrusting so much of the world for reasons that don't need to be spoken about right now. And they're going to say, you know what, I don't trust the banks and the governments. I want things in my control. I want to control my data. I want to say you can have it and you can't have it. They're going to say, you know what, I haven't had any choices online. I don't have the ability to think. I go to a place and Facebook owns, Meta owns all of my images. They just talked about how they've trained on millions and billions of images. Those are all of our faces. They're taking everything. Online, we don't have any choice. Right now, today, we don't have any choice, but we will. We will when we take control of our assets and our finances and all the things that we can have back because of the Web3 technology you just mentioned. It will all then be in our control. Then we'll say to brands, hey, you want to know who I am? Because right now I've shown up in the metaverse as a bunny or a bear or a character from one of my favorite movies. So you have no idea how old I am, what gender I am. You don't know anything about what I like. If you want to know, you have to give me something in exchange. And that's where the playing field is going to really get level, and that's where a brand is going to have to say, I want to know if you're male or female, and I'll give you a discount on my sneaker. And you can now buy it online, and it'll show up at your door in a second. And now I'll go right into my loyalty program, and I'll be able to trade you something right to your wallet. And so that's the reason that brands have to pay attention, because we're going from a cookieless future, which we're in now, and one of the tech products that we've patented and built is something called a donut. It's a decentralized cookie. It's beyond the macaroon, which we all know we went from cookies to macaroons, and now we're going to donuts.
I like donuts better than cookies, too. So
donuts is where I can tell you as a brand that I'm willing to give you information about myself, and you can give me something back. And so this is the reason why in 2027, 2028, 2029, first-party data, third-party data, all of the cookies are gone, and we're in a totally different situation as brands where we can't steal from the consumers anymore. We can't force them to think what we want them to think. We actually have to be somewhat human, and we have to give them something of value to get something of value in return. So we're headed for a much more virtuous place, whether people try to stand in the way or not.
Yeah, you know.
Truly. So again, pretty good points within that. And again, it just kind of made me think because I saved the other post regarding the bank account, and I was like, that kind of falls into the mistrust that Shara was talking about. So Neo Tokyo, this is interesting because I am going on a little bit of a gaming discussion as we're going on to finish this one out. So we're excited to announce a major partnership with GameStarter. GameStarter is your one-stop hub for Web3 gaming with their own launchpad, NFT marketplace, game dev studio, and more. So everyone, man, the amount of companies and things out here doing stuff within Web3, it feels like it's almost like too many to a point, right? And so with GameStarter here, they have 171,000 followers, when we click out this, check out the site here, your gateway to gaming's future. You can subscribe, early access to Dark Frontiers. Haven't heard of it. Overtrip coming soon. It's a battle royale. Basketball verse that is having early access. Apparently, the partner with Coin Market Cap, Gate, Uniswap, Pancake. And so I guess this is something that is starting to work. Buy game, stake game, complete KYC. You're all set, gamer. I think about this. 5K plus KOLs and partner, 47 funded projects, 12 million capital raised, and I've never heard of it before. And that's, I mean, that just shows like the depth of Web3, right? It's like you think you know, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, wow, there is a whole nother venture out there that we didn't know about. So within Neo Tokyo, the founders are Alex Becker, who's a big YouTuber, and Elio Trades. And I watch Elio relatively often because I'm always curious what other people are hyping and seeing what newcomers are coming in. Apparently, his channel is completely exploding. And in his recent video, he was talking about how like a really big announcement was with Superverse is happening. They also had like an announcement a while ago where their Gigamart, their NFT marketplace, was getting paused or wasn't getting worked on, and then that announcement of them working with a company that has an NFT marketplace, you see where these connections and scalability and whatnot come in. It's kind of interesting. Okay, iPhone news here. iOS is dead. That's a hot take. Why would anyone want to build native apps? Sure, the UX is better, but clearly the App Store is the worst thing to publish on. Xcode is whack. Fees are insane. Anti-competitive actions left and right. Reviews are slow. Rejections without reasons. Unfairness. Time to shine. PWAs. A quick summary of glaring problems we found so far. Apple has introduced an anti-competitive new 27% tax on web purchases. Apple has never done this before, and it kills price competition. Developers can't offer digital items more cheaply on the web after paying a third-party payment processor 3 to 6% and paying this new 27% Apple tax. Apple dictates all aspects of these links and doesn't allow them in the app's ordinary payment flow. Rather, links must be separated out in a different section of the app away from places where usually users actually buy stuff. Apple requires developers to open a generic web browser session, forcing the user to log into the developer's website again to make a purchase, and because of number 2, users will have to search all over again for the digital item they want to buy. Apple will front-run competing payment processors with their own scare screen to disadvantage them, which is what we highlighted yesterday. And then Epic will contest Apple's bad faith compliance plan in district court. So I guess they mean Epic Games, I'm assuming. But still, this is crazy, right? Because we have the Solana phone, and this is almost like my argument where like esports are kind of floundering, where blockchain gaming has all this funding and this rise. Well, okay, we have this massive monopoly within Apple, and if that's starting to kind of, dwindle a little bit, again, I know, you're going to go buy a new iPhone, yada, yada, but still, this is causing room for a new competitor to enter the space. Oh, look, in Web3, there's the Solana phone. It's kind of crazy. Yo, Ray Stinger, what's going on? Too much going on, Shilzy? I can't keep up. Truly, that's why we do this show where it's kind of quick hit pieces. You see something you like, you go research it. If not, we're ordering a shakaroni. Colin Cowherd compares Justin Fields to NFTs. What?
Not anti-Justin Fields. And I think he does have value. I think he could garner a second to a third round pick. But you better accept that second round pick because it may be a third. It's like NFTs. Remember when NFTs came out? Like, I always understood cryptocurrency, not for me, unregulated money, no thank you. No centralized bank is really willing to put their arms around it. Not going to be my investment. But like NFTs, as like 98% are worthless. Like, you keep telling me it's something, and I don't see something. And the opinions on Justin Fields are wild. You keep telling me what he is, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see it. And I'm not anti-Justin Fields.
All right, that was going to play again, but that's crazy, man. So, I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything, I remember when Top Shot started taking off and Pat McAfee was talking about NBA Top Shot and Shaq on NBA and TNT, and they were talking about that stuff. Like, man, we're making a comeback, baby. DGen news breaking: Solana meme coin whiff dog with coin or with hat breaks into the top 5 meme coins by market cap. So I don't know. I feel like I always go on these like tangents about meme coins, and I think that like it highlights the aspect that there is virtually no utility for like 90% of tokens out there, right? And so that's why you have these, it's like, oh, it's a cool name, it's this and that. I still think that once we have like actual applications that people want to participate in, it'll change. Now, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because you will have some of the places where, like for Root, if they do have like actually this any token gas and it's not segmented to just like tokens within their ecosystem, then they could say, hey, if you have Pepe or you have this with hat, come use that as gas, and then it gives like some kind of utility for it. But listen, I don't know. I don't know. Meme coins have never really interested me that much. Yo, what's going on? Hold on. I can't even see the name. Is that McLovin? Hey, McLovin, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Long time no see. I'm going to say it one time. I'm going to tell you one time. You know Justin Bieber? Anybody? Okay. Start playing around with NFT protocols. Almost all of them are dropping tokens soon. Protocol interaction equals airdrop. And then they have like a whole list of protocols on here. Holy, hold on a second. Let's check this out. So... for borrowing and lending, Nifty Finance, NFT Fi, Arcade, Astria, Bailout, Scion, Balloon Protocol, Nifty Apes, Paraspace, Bendao, Blank. Bro, I've heard of like a handful of these, but that's a crazy ass list. Real world assets, Roofstock, 4K Protocol, Land, Tiamon's Found. This is actually like a pretty damn good list. Yo, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. For markets, Blur, OpenSea Pro, Rarible, X2Y2, looks rare, OpenSea, Uniswap. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like the amount of these apps that I've ever like actually used in any capacity, even just visited, is maybe like 3 or less on this entire sheet. But damn, there's a lot of stuff out there for these NFTs, real world assets, a little bit of everything. The founder of Axi Infinity, what's got to say here? Load the effing ApeCoin bag back up, dude. We're going to $50 next year. Sheesh. Oh yeah, love the bullishness. So again, founder of Axi Infinity here, G-Hose. Someone I asked that I respect if we need Blur-like incentives to boost volume for Axi and the Ronin network. It's a good and interesting question, and while I hate what Blur has done to NFTs in many ways, I also recognize the power of simplicity and using incentives to force coordinated behaviors. Part of the beauty of tokenized in-game rewards is that these are actually incentivizing liquidity and NFT trading volume, just like Blur rewards, but also creating social connections, memories, and complex digital economies along the way. Blur is play to earn without the emotion, which is actually why Web3 gaming is a more interesting model in the long run. Of course, the token emission needs to be balanced with supply and demand. How to do this with the volume when the volume is so volatile and actually the main detriment of buy and sell pressure rather than inflation and deflation? Let's find out together. Attach some numbers on Axi's economy in 2023. So they had 14,000 trading volume. Holy sugar. So if ETH is like, what's ETH at? Like 2,300? Times 14,000. That's 32 mil. Treasury, they're up 3.4. I mean, I think I went over some of this the other day, but still, it is interesting to note, as most people that you probably see in your timeline don't talk about Axie Infinity, but there's been $32 million American in trading volume for Axie Infinity at a time when most people say that it's dead. So, I mean, they might be a little bit wrong. But listen, if you guys missed it yesterday, we did an old school RuneScape stream. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing them again or whatnot. Maybe we'll do it like exclusively on Twitch, because so we talk NFTs. Like, who the hell wants to see me play old school RuneScape? But this is a fire graphic right there. A banger. And then speaking of crazy things that are cool, that are art, and hopefully I don't get copyrighted on that. This person draws 3 circles, okay? So this looks weird, and this is going to be some kind of weird like alien thing from a future dimension. And then they start drawing, right? And you're like, okay, all right. The circles are starting to fade away a little bit here. Everything else looks pretty decent. I never really took like a good art class, or like, I mean, I did in high school, but it's kind of, I made a project and I called it Loners, and the teacher kept it. That's kind of like my claim to fame in high school, to be honest. But then they're starting to make these things, and man, I don't know how the hell art works, but they had 3 circles that made this person look like an alien, and now things are looking normal. I don't know how it works, but holy smokes, it is crazy. Let them finish. Another few seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Decent. Justin, former President Donald Trump says he will never allow the creation of central bank digital currency if elected in 2024. Okay. We are really starting to ramp up here with this election talk. Because this is something that we talked about, like, I think like as soon as the year started, about how this year it's going to be a huge notion. Apparently there's already been like millions or I think it was billions that's been raised for pro-crypto candidates. And so these type of conversations are really going to spark a hell of a lot of interest. And seeing this being said, okay, interesting. RuneScape, my good. Are you living back your middle day school? Yeah, truly. Yeah, this guy knows. Midlife Crisis 2.0. Exciting things are coming. We highlighted OniForce yesterday. They had this post about, things are coming, an announcement of an announcement. But Rebase here, what the hell is this? Welcome to the IRL Cup. Excited to announce that we're partnering with some of Web3's biggest IPs to bring loot boxes filled with exclusive prizes and experiences to the real world. Okay, so is this like what you go to Walmart and they have like certain game figurines or something you would put on like your car mirror? I know they did that for Overwatch. Alongside the launch of our native token, we launched the IRL Cup, an interactive way for users to get rewarded while playing our game. Points are earned by doing any of the following actions: of inviting friends, playtime, distance covered, or items collected. 108,000 followers. Again, this is the first time that I've heard about that. I don't know like what these characters that are highlighting, like that looks like the Pokemon hat. Maybe that's a little bit of an IP infringement unless they have it. But the thing that matters, I guess, is like, okay, is OniForce being a part of that? Yeah, together ushering in the next generation of Web3 users through gaming. Earn exclusive prizes for Oniverse. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm not really that like informed. So they have this partnership. I've never seen it before. They're giving IRL things, but it's for the OniForce verse. I don't know. Apparently it's happening. Immutable has signed on 9 managed games since last Monday with an average funding per game of high 7 figures. We've tripled our pace since the start of last year, and we're about to cross 250 well-funded games. Web3 gaming is inevitable. Okay. Hands up if you play any Immutable game right now. Hands up if you know anybody that plays any Immutable game right now. Hands up if you know anybody playing any sort of Web3 game on a frequent basis right now. I think you have Jeremy in parallel, so I'm putting my hand up. Oh, and I've seen a lot of people regarding Battle Plan as well. I think that we still haven't really seen like a big influx of stuff, but it's absolutely insane how many games, how much funding, and everything that are backing them. I agree that Web3 gaming is inevitable. I get that, but it also does feel like, damn, like we are still stupid early. And this is showing for layer 2 ecosystems for game. Immutable up here for number of games at 100. Immutable has 110 games. That's insane. Arbitrum has over 60. Mantle has over 20. Starknet 15. Base 10. Optimism 10. And Homeverse that I've never heard of before down there at below 10. But look at all these games and not many people rocking and rolling with that. All right. We got a little bit of a post here from Board Ape Yacht Club. Saw a lot of people getting followed from them as well. So that was all over the timeline. What's up, BAYC? It's your boy. This year we're back to basics, making sure the club is the heart of everything we do. A few brief updates with that in mind. Yo, Shay, good morning, good morning. First up, introducing the revamped Board Ape Yacht Club site. All right, let's click on this. I have a hand that is an ape. We have a peephole for the creeper. And this looks kind of cool. Oh, and then there's music. They have a boat. There's crowns. Feels kind of laggy. Feels really, really laggy. I think it looks cool though. But yeah, it's funny. See, the Silo website was also just stupid laggy. Like it's cool that these collections are going for like interactive websites, but I don't know if it's like the browser I'm on or if these things just like don't run that smoothly unless you got like some insane PC. Since we were talking about Web3 gaming, what's the deal with the BAYC game? So I mean, I don't like. So Dookie Dash is coming back out in a free variation. Heavy Metal has been like thrashed, except now from the depths they've almost doubled in the past a little bit because there's something that heavy metals get within this new Dookie Dash that is free to play, and so people are speculating on that. And then Legends of Mara has been like, I've been like kind of playing it, but it's like you don't really do anything. It's just like a super massively passive staking game, essentially. So again, Yuga's gaming aspect, I think, relies pretty heavily on what's going on with what happens with other side. Next, we want to hear from you. If you're in the club, we see your tweets, but also want your unfiltered thoughts. So we partnered with Block Survey on a token-gated survey. Yes, it accepts wallet delegation. Don't you dare connect your cold wallet. Shout out and a big thank you to the first BAYC Community Council. We're going to open up the council to get some new apes in to help us steer the ship. More on that soon. So this is something that's interesting because there was like council members that were voted in through ApeCoin, and then I think that this council is different. I might be totally wrong on that, because I think these guys have been there for like quite some time, and it's interesting that we don't really know like what the impact is for this, right? Like, is there one of these people that had all these great ideas and things that people really liked? They were like a leading charge. Was there anybody that was super annoying that, you know, wrecked things or suggested things that were horrible? Like, you don't really get to see the ins and outs in terms of like transparency that way. And I guess if I was going to say one thing like regarding that is like, I don't know, was this council amazing? Was it horrible? I don't know, because we don't know that much information regarding, unless you like the people that are involved, which again, a lot of them I do know and do like, but again, I wish there was a little bit more that we kind of knew about what their role was per se. As Other Side Meta announced last week, apes are coming home to our central BAYC island and clubhouse next month. So come hang. We've promised PP Man will have pants on. So again, that's just highlighting Other Side is coming next month. The sewers beneath the club are grubbing. Dookie Dash Unclogged, our first BAYC game open to literally everybody, is launching soon. This is one of the ways we plan on putting BAYC in millions of pockets. Do your part by signing up your entire extended family here. To all our new members, welcome to the club, and to our OGs, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Let's keep it weird, and we've got a lot planned this year, so see you at the clubhouse. Now, I'm wanting to end on this because I saw it and I was like, okay, I don't really know a whole lot about it. It's a new ecosystem, right? So whenever we have the Say ecosystem go nuts, the Bitcoin Ordinals ecosystem go nuts, something else that's going to come out and be like, oh, here's this. When you first look at it, with all the competition that there is within the blockchain space, what sets things apart? So I saw this and I was like, okay, let's take a quick look at the ecosystem. So they have NFT collections, they have the physical and digital, staking solution, news and info, Web3 social media. Apparently it's a decentralized social feed combining user-generated content with blockchain events. That's kind of neat. Highlighting more NFT collections on here. They have a community, more NFTs, sustainability, the marketplace for nature-based carbon credits and impact claims. Okay. They have a dev hub, more phygital, a VR section, a multiverse, next generation studio in Hong Kong. They have the website. And you can see some exchanges and whatnot that are on here. Every collection and chain, of course, has to have a punks one that's a part of it. Platies, that looks what in the absolute halibut is that? I'm gonna go the wrong way here, aren't I? I absolutely am. Man, I absolutely love NFTs. What a world. Chill whales, which is something that I've seen actually a fair amount of, to be honest. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom in and out here and I'm losing everything. So 8,888 virtual collectibles created with the purpose of serving as your digital identity on universal profile. So when you look at that, I guess my question off that kind of rip is there anything within there that would make you intrigued by it? Let's just assume you answered no, not really. Although the platies do sound kind of interesting. Would your notion of that change if one of those collections ended up skyrocketing and you were able to get in on one of the NFTs for like $15, $20 at a time, but you're like, I'm not divulging it? Okay, yeah, you'd probably have that thought, but this is where things get interesting, where we still have this massive thought of, okay, everything regarding NFTs and whatnot is based on the price action instead of the application and you actually wanting to use something on that. I think it'll change at some point. I really do. Hopefully that's in 24. Maybe not. Anyway, that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. If you enjoy it, please give a thumbs up wherever you're watching. And if you're watching the VOD, please leave a comment. And if you're able to share it with one friend, so the subscriber count, as I highlighted yesterday, has been going crazy. And I really, really appreciate you guys supporting this. And of course, we will be back tomorrow because today is Thursday. Thanks so much, and I'll see you then. Peace, peace.